Okay, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Naperville Park District Board of Commissioners. It is Thursday, June 27th, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. If everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bridget, will you take the roll, please?
President Janner?
Here.
Vice President King? Absent. Commissioner Carlson?
Here.
Commissioner Egan?
Present.
Commissioner McBroom?
Here.
Commissioner Riley?
Here.
Commissioner Todd? Here.
Okay, we'll start with matters from the public. Bridget, does anyone from the public sign up to speak?
No.
Okay, then we will move on to recognitions. See if I can make my way up to the podium here. Gotta say, I had an uneasy feeling when I saw Bolingbrook or a Batavia police officer. Parking ticket in 1997. But would Police Chief Carl Schniven, Officer David White, Detective Jamie Goshi, and Catherine Marshall please come up to the podium for a special presentation of the Officer White Scholarship Award. Turn it over to Chief Schniven. Chief?
Thank you. The Officer David White Scholarship was established in 2006 by a local donor to encourage young people to pursue compassionate public service. Scholarship honors Officer David White, this gentleman over here, who while on duty helped save the life of a young person. Scholarship is open to applicants from the Naperville Park District Police, the City of Naperville Police, the City of Naperville Fire Department, the Police Explorers, and the Fire Explorers. In past years, we have presented this scholarship to applicants representing nearly all of these services. Tonight, I'm happy to introduce one of our past scholarship recipients, Detective Jamie Goshi, who now works for the Batavia Police Department, both as a detective and a juvenile officer. I might also go off script a little bit and mention that Jamie started with us way back when as a park service officer, moved into being a park police officer, and then later moved to Batavia, where she's had a stellar career so far. Detective Goshi will present the 2019 scholarship. And Jamie, welcome. Thank you for being here.
As someone who benefited from this scholarship, I want to thank the donors for continuing to provide the support for young people who are dedicated to public service. I also want to acknowledge the support and enthusiasm of the late Mayor Emeritus George Cradle, who served on the scholarship review panel for 12 years and donated funds to expand the scholarship. I am pleased to announce that the winner of the 2019 scholarship is Catherine Marshall, daughter of Naperville Chief of Police Robert Marshall. Throughout her high school career at Mattea Valley High School and in her first year at the University of Kentucky, Catherine pursued service to others, including mentoring an elementary school student, child care, mission trips, and service projects. Her desire to brighten the lives of hurting children led to her studying nursing in college with the goal to become a pediatric oncology nurse. Catherine clearly models the attitude of service and concern for others that this award stands for. Catherine, we are proud to award you the 2019 Officer White Scholarship and wish you the very best as you continue your education at the University of Kentucky. Once again, we want to thank the donors of this scholarship for their generosity and vision to support higher education and the families of our local first responders. Thank you.
Did you guys want to get some photos?
We're going to go outside for the photos, I think.
Yeah, we can relocate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. At this time, we'd also like to acknowledge the members of the 2019 scholarship panel. who spent time carefully reading and evaluating each application and essay according to the criteria established by the scholarship. The members of the panel included are the following individuals: Mike Briggs, the president and CEO of Little Friends; our own Bobby Carlson, commissioner here at the Naperville Park District; Kamala Martinez, president and CEO of Kids Matter; Mark Pagnitis, fire chief, Naperville Fire Department; Nancy Quigley, Citizens Appreciation Public Safety; Bob Ross, the chief operating officer for Naperville Community Unit School District 203; and again, our own Carl Schnippen, Park Police Chief here at the Naperville Park District. Thank you again for your time in evaluating all these applications received, and great job, everybody. Thank you. Okay, we'll move ahead to our consent agenda.
Oh, we were going to put the
Oh, I'm sorry.
presentation.
Because we have a guest here, we thought we would move item 7.1 under discussion items up on the agenda. So pull-up bars for Patriots, Greg Campbell.
I didn't know you had a presentation, so I'm setting it up right now.
Thank you for having me. Greg Cantz, 1121 Cardinal Lane here in Naperville. I'm a Naperville resident, Naperville subdivision.
2 seconds.
Move the podium away from
I can start telling you about our organization. He'll have the PowerPoint up in a second, kind of give you a little more visual, because it's more of a visual organization. What we do. The Pull-Up Bars for Patriots is a nonprofit 501c3 charity. What we do is we honor fallen service members. Our mission is to establish pull-up bar memorials to honor the fallen. Yep, there you go. So we're a Naperville nonprofit 501c3 charity. Our mission is to establish permanent memorials by raising sets of pull-up bars to honor fallen service members, while also encouraging physical fitness in communities around the United States. Slightly different than a tree or a bench, our memorial is actually a set of pull-up bars. So instead of a statue, the memorial is a set of pull-up bars. It encourages people to come out, do pull-ups in honor of the fallen. And it's interactive. Our goal, we're creating an app where once you do some pull-ups, you can log onto the app and track how many pull-ups you've done while reading the bio of the service member, making it truly interactive. The inaugural pull-up bar memorial, which you see here, was established in Wheaton, Illinois in honor of Lance Corporal Nick Larson. He was a Marine that died in Fallujah back in 2004 in November. The pull-up bar memorial started with me taking my son to the park when he was a little bit younger. And there's never a pull-up bar for adults, not in all parks. There are some out there. But started talking to my wife and said, what can we do to, being a former Marine, you do a lot of pull-ups. It's never a pull-up bar. So I said, what if we put up a pull-up bar in honor of the fallen? And her friend that she worked with, her cousin, Lance Corporal Nick Larson, died in Fallujah. So we're looking at bringing a pull-up bar memorial here to Naperville, being a Naperville charity. We'd like to honor the 9 service members that have fallen since September 11th. We're working with new toys, leisure products, and landscape structures. The bars and the boarding play surface are supplied through new toys, the local distributor for landscape structures. They're playground equipment manufacturer based out of Minnesota. A lot of parks here in Naperville have landscape structure equipment. Our goal is to have them installed early fall before the weather turns too cold. The board in place foundation can't be installed once it gets too cold. Ideally be completed by Veterans Day. We're proposing with permission, kind of one of the reasons we're coming to the board. Our thought, and it was mentioned before in the past, Possibly in the Veterans Park would be an ideal location. We were thinking more kind of off to the side, right along the DuPage River Trail. Wouldn't take up much of a footprint, wouldn't have really an impact to the landscape. No trees really would have to be removed. Pretty close to the parking lot, so people could park or come right off the trail, and then people are running along the trail. As I said, there's 9 service members. It's quite a large number that we'd like to honor. Getting to know some of the families of the service members. This is a way to tell their story. As I said earlier, statues, plaques. This way we get the community to interact, do some pull-ups, gives them a reason to do them, because most people will be like, I can't do any pull-ups. But if you do them for somebody and it gives you a reason to do them, and just to help remember the sacrifice that was made and honor those so they're not forgotten and we continue to tell their story. Thanks for helping us raise the bars. Any questions?
So other than that, you mentioned the app, and the pull-up bar itself, is there anything else on the location that explains what it is and everything like that? Or?
There is. Up front, there's a little plaque that says, we raise these bars in honor of Lance Corporal Nick Larson, honoring him for his sacrifice to his service. Here being in Naperville, I'd like to work with the Park District on making sure it's not too large, but something maybe a little bit larger, or maybe somewhat of a monument that would list everyone's name on the...
Lightning. It's lightning. What's the alert to do pull-ups? One or the other. The one, it's not an issue at all, but in speaking with a couple people from the VFW, the commander, and one from the American Legion, while they are not opposed to having it there, they don't think it's going to get nearly the exposure there that we're hoping to get. And they think that, we'd be better served in one of our sports complexes where we've got just hundreds of people every day going through there. So I only offer that up to you because I know it's the synergy seems that's where it should go. And talking with the commander and then again the American Legion, at the end of the day they love the concept. They just say I just don't think it's going to get nearly the exposure at Veterans Park. And that's sad.
Yeah.
That it might get at least in a different park. Try to look at the staff if there's some suggestions that we talked about.
Yeah, certainly. As Ray mentioned, the sports complexes are an opportunity. We also have the Wolf's Crossing Park that we're constructing right now, just beginning to construct, that will have a large fitness component, a fitness area, a challenge course that will be part of that development, that it may be a very nice fit at that location. So something else to consider.
Yeah, I have no opposition to wherever you'd like to place it. We just love to put one up. It'd be great if the funding was there to put up 9 for every one of the service members in multiple parks around the community. But the cost of the Port in Place Foundation and the bars themselves initially was proposed to put up 1 time for all, or branch out from there. So the idea would be to have them all across the country. So if you travel to Michigan or Wisconsin, you stop in a town, you can do some pull-ups, or we talked at the Elmhurst to honor Sergeant Joe Vanek. Take the trail from Wheaton over to, here we are in Naperville, I'm talking about Elmhurst. Wheaton. But, go to multiple locations where you can do them in honor of different fallen service members.
Do you have that funded?
It is not funded.
How much is it?
It's about $20,000. The Port in Place Foundation's $18,900. The bars themselves are about $2,000, and then there's a little extra cost to put in.
So are you asking the Park District to fund it, or what's your?
I would request whatever funding you could provide, and then we'd try to get private donations on top of that.
I know an accounting firm will put up half, the park district will put up the other half. Call me afterwards either way.
I'd like as many people involved in the community as possible to get the word out so people know about us.
Ray, what do you think as far as next steps here? We try to figure out the funding piece, or, I guess any commissioners have any comments? One way or the other?
I'm definitely in favor of it. Great.
I think next steps would be for us to circle back with you maybe after the holiday next week and maybe pinpoint a location, work in cooperation with you, Commissioner, and find the funds to get it done for a 50-50 match, sort of the final money for a project like this. So I think the first thing would be where would be the best place to put it. So I think that would be the next conversation. That work?
Yeah, no, that's, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate
Thank you for your
guys
time,
for your
sir.
time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Can I have these copies out? Sure. Sure. Perfect, thank you.
Thanks again.
No, thank you.
Now we will move on to our consent agenda.
Is the phone number right in the camera? Probably.
It is.
Want to get a drink of water before reading all these?
All right, I'm ready. Okay, consent agenda, item 4.1, approve the appointments of Commissioners Bobby Carlson and Josh McBroom to the Finance Committee, Commissioner Carlson to interim chair said committee. 4.2, approve the appointments of Commissioners Josh McBroom and Mike Riley to the Legislative Committee, Commissioner McBroom to interim chair said committee. 4.3, approve the appointments of Commissioners Mike Riley, Mike King, and Marie Todd to the Parks and Rec Committee, Commissioner Riley to interim chair said committee. 4.4, approve the appointment of Mike King to the Parks Foundation. 4.5, approve the appointment of Bobby Carlson to the Riverwalk Commission. 4.6, approve May 23, 2019 regular meeting minutes. 4.7, approve May 23, 2019 executive session closed meeting minutes. 4.8, award the contract for the 95th Street Community Plaza Development Project for bid group number 2 to Klaus Brothers Construction Incorporated in the amount of $3,782,827.55, and approve change order number 1 for reduction in scope of work and price in the amount of $1,548,223.55 to the 95th Street Community Plaza Development Project bid group number 2 contract between the Naperville Park District and Klaus Brothers Construction Incorporated, resulting in a revised and reduced contract sum of $2,234,604. 4.9, approve change order number 1 for reduction in scope of work and price in the amount of $39,847.55 to the 95th Street Community Plaza Development Project bid group number 1 contract approved April 11, 2019 between the Naperville Park District and Klaus Brothers Construction, Inc., resulting in a revised and reduced contract sum of $348,315. 4.10, award the engineering services contract to White & Company for the Knock Park Phase 2 improvements project for a lump sum fee not to exceed $79,000. 4.11, award the contract for the Wolf's Crossing Community Park Site Development Project to Integral Construction, Inc. in the amount of $8,290,800. 4.12, approve payment of the facilities installation charge, FIC, in the amount of $203,792.97 to the City of Naperville Department of Public Utilities Electric Division, DPU-E, for the Wolf's Crossing Community Park Development. 4.13, approve ordinance 962, authorizing amendment number 1 to temporary construction easement agreement by the Naperville Park District to Naperville Elderly Homes, Inc. And 4.14, approve ordinance 963, authorizing the second amendment to option and site license agreement.
Thank you. Are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda?
4.8, please.
Any other items to be removed from the consent agenda?
Move to approve consent agenda items 4.1 through 4.7 and 4.9 through 4.14.
Second.
Any discussion? Bridget, please call the roll.
Commissioner Riley?
Yes.
Commissioner Todd?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Egan?
Aye.
Commissioner King? I'm sorry, Commissioner McBroom?
Yes.
President Janner?
Yes.
Move to award the contract for the 95th Street Community Plaza Development Project for bid group number 2 to...
No,
we
we
have
gotta-
to, we have to,
Accept, approve.
Accept.
Oh, we have to, sorry.
We accepted.
so we accepted it, now we have to
Now we need to approve.
Move to approve consent agenda items 4.1 through 4.7 and 4.9 through 4.14.
Second.
Any discussion? This is a voice vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that carries. Now we'll move on to unfinished business.
Okay. Motion to award the contract for the 95th Street Community Plaza Development Project for bid group number 2 to Klaus Brothers Construction Incorporated in the amount of $3,782,827.55. And approve change order number 1 for a reduction in scope of work and price in the amount of $1,548,223.55 to the 95th Street Community Plaza Development Project bid group number 2 contract between the Naperville Park District and Klaus Brothers Construction Incorporated, resulting in a revised or reduced contract sum of $2,234,604.
Second.
Any discussion? Commissioner Egan?
I haven't supported this project and I won't support it this time around. Again, this is money that can be put towards the people's #1 request on the survey of building an indoor pool. I believe this spot is supposed to be where that indoor pool is supposed to go back in the day, but I could be wrong on that. But either way, my vote is no.
Any other discussion? Bridget, please take the roll.
Commissioner Riley?
Yes.
Commissioner Todd?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Egan?
No.
Commissioner McBroom?
Yes.
President Janner?
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to discussion items. We've already covered item 7.1 on the agenda with Greg's presentation. Then we'll move on to item 7.2, recreation programming plan updates.
Yeah, included in the weekly packet last week, the June 21st weekly packet, was an updated recreation programming plan. This is a plan that was first adopted back in 2011. It was updated in 2014 and 2016, and is a major component of actually CAPRA and the requirements associated with the accreditation. The plan actually expands upon the district's master plan as well as strategic plan and provides direction with the programs and services that we provide, the type and the scope of programs and services that we provide through our programming. Significant updates to the plan this time around include updated demographics information, utilizing the information that is consistent within the district's master plan, updates to program participation and the trends that we see within the various program areas that we have. Updated guides and initiatives found within the master plan and strategic plan have been incorporated into the programming plan looking specifically at those items that pertain to recreation and programming. Updates to the core values and the district's mission, which had changed since the last time this plan was updated. Updates to the personnel information, as well as incorporation of golf programming. This certainly, the information that's included within the plan of how we go about putting our programs, activities together, selecting what is provided to the community, certainly applies to the programming that is done through golf as well. So the plan was initially discussed with the Parks and Recreation Committee, bringing it now to the full board for discussion and for review, with the intent of bringing the plan to the board for consideration in July, at one of the meetings in July.
Commissioner Todd, I know you had some great comments on this during the Parks and Rec Committee. Do you want to share any of that, or?
I forget what some of my comments were. I had suggested a couple of different modifications to it, which I think Brad has already incorporated into it. So
Yep.
which he already mentioned actually, the golf and and so on being incorporated, so I'm good. I think it was a very well-done plan, and us keeping this up to date, I think, is important to our whole program.
Thank you. Any other comments? That was the sentiment of the Parks and Rec Committee. We thought it was very well done, and appreciate you getting that done for us.
Very good. Thank you.
Before we continue, Greg, just you're welcome to stay for the whole meeting, but if you want to leave, we won't be offended. Just want to make sure you're aware. Okay. All right, let's move on then to the 95th Street Community Plaza.
Yes, just a brief update. The phase one portion of work is moving along on site, further down to the west. With the approval of the contract and the change orders this evening, the project will continue to move forward. I just want to note, or release a note and share with the board that identified in the memo, there are owner purchase items that we're going to acquire through a purchasing network, such as the restroom building, the water play features, the site furnishings, and shelter. And you'll probably see contracts for those items coming to you in July. So just a heads up on that. So that's all I really have. That the project's moving forward, and we'll have more to share with you shortly.
Questions? Thank you, Eric. Let's move on then to item 7.4, not park improvements.
So earlier this evening, with the approval of the engineering contract for this phase two portion of non-park improvements, that project is also moving forward. Also reported at an earlier park board workshop, there's going to be an IGA formulated between the Naperville Park District and Community Unit School District 203. As you may have identified in the newspapers, the School District 203 recently approved their budget. Within their budget, they had $2 million for their portion of this project. So really the next step is to bring an IGA to you for consideration, which will most likely be presented at the July Parks and Rec Committee meeting, and then to the July workshop for further discussion and consideration.
Questions on that? Let's keep going then to item 7.5, Riverwalk Park JC Playground renovation.
So earlier in the month was the approval of the Riverwalk Park JC Playground renovation, and that was for the main construction work in the amount of $245,116. Also part of the project for taking advantage of purchasing networks and negotiated purchasing power with the Park District and these networks that are available to the district. We are securing the play surfacing in the amount of $124,054.19, which brings the total project value to $369,170.19. As you may recall, incorporated within the 2019 capital budget is $445,000 for this project. So we're about $75,000 under budget, but I just want to let you know in July you will see a contract for the second part, which is the surfacing, which would be in that amount of $124,054.19.
Thank you. Questions, comments? All right, moving on to item 7.6, purchase of 2019 Ford F-350 dump truck for South Park.
Yes, so included in the weekly packet was our letter to recommend the replacement of an 11-year-old truck. This particular truck has already incurred over $3,100 of expenses for this year, and we have a list of other items that will be needed to be done in excess of $15,000. So we believe it's the appropriate time now to purchase and replace a new truck, and we bring that to the board for consideration.
Questions, comments? Thank you, Kevin. Our last item under discussion, item 7.7, Last Fling 2019 agreement.
That is also mine. It's in the, we wanted to inform the board that this is on its way. This will be a one-year agreement for this year. Not many things are new. It will be pretty much status quo as far as the reimbursables go from the JCs. New this year will be some minor fencing details up and down Jackson, but that's really out of our purview. That's really up to the city. And that's really it, just more to come. So that should be coming in late July or early August.
Thank you, Kevin. Any questions, comments? Okay, let's move on to department updates, starting with item 8.1, administration.
I just wanted to, you got to save the date regarding the WGN block party and parade. I'll send out an invitation with a little bit more detail. The parade, it looks like they want us to be lined up at 8
o'clock.
for a 9 o'clock stepping off. It's short. Oh, yeah. It's short. We have beach staff, commissioners, we have a lot of, and who else is marching? Leadership team and some staff. So I'll give you more information, and we do have shirts on the way. And if you didn't give me your size, I guessed, so.
So good luck with it. What's, two questions really, what's our active part in this, and what is the parade route?
Well, so it's a very short parade route. It's basically
Eagle to
and it's totally, it's a
Maine.
made-for-TV parade.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen is we're going to go out of the library lot, come down toward Jackson and go east. And we're going to have cues. So they'll say, oh, you know, okay, cameras are on, start walking, we'll be like waving. I've got some flowered leaves that are coming. I have some spirit palms. We've got some signs with our beach logo and Park District logo and some kind of fun stuff. So I'll be kind of waving or waving your sign or waving the palms, and then they'll say, all right, we're going to commercial, stop. Stop. Coming back from commercial, hey! That's my understanding of it.
So totally
Caffeine.
spontaneous.
More or
coffee,
less.
drink a lot.
So a block and a half, no hay wagon, so.
Right, it's just all walking and just kind of waving.
Or dancing, whichever you prefer.
Yeah.
Or strutting. Blind dance.
Okay, thanks for putting that together. I think they were saying, what, the viewership on that show is more than, I mean, it's just a huge
Like
viewership.
Good Morning America, I forget what there are a bunch of
Every
like,
single show combined
yeah, combined, it's pretty
nationally does
amazing.
not draw as much as WGN does.
And they're expecting up to 10,000 people to be there, because the event, the block party itself is from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. So in that 4-hour time span, they're expecting that many people in the downtown area, and then the parade's all kind of the culmination of this event.
Yeah, it's, well,
Very good.
To make just one comment, I want to circle back to Commissioner Egan's comments, which I totally respect and understand. But members of the public here and with NCTV, I just want to put some facts out on the table about that, because I'm concerned that there's not going to be two sides to the story. So indoor water has always been a concern of ours and will continue to be one. The bigger concern is how do you pay for that? And so I understand Commissioner Egan's voting no on this, saying that that money could go toward that. Some facts about indoor water. So as I said before publicly, an 8-lane, 25-meter, 25-yard pool is $8 million. It's about $1 million a lane. It's about $500,000 a year to support that. I've always been of the position that we should have indoor water, but it should not be just strictly for swim teams. It should be for lazy river type thing for kids. It should be, you know, warm water pools. It should be a combination of things for the community to use. I can almost guarantee you, I can't guarantee you 100% because there's nothing 100% other than death. But I can tell you it would be the death of the Park District to build an 8-lane pool without a building to surround it to support it. Because if you talk to any park district in the state of Illinois, there's not one pool that supports itself, not one. They always are in the red. The way in which they support themselves, much like we do with some of our programs here, our other programs surround that and prop it up so that it's sustainable. So the only way we bring indoor water to this community is we have to put a building around it with a fitness component, with an indoor track, with aerobics, the things we have at Fort Hill. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, but if we were to build Fort Hill today, it would be $30 million without the pool. Let that sink in for a second. It would be $30 million, that's without a pool in today's dollars. If we were to go to drawings next year, let's just say that you say, find the money, and Sue has a heart attack and goes, we don't have the money, because we don't have the money. We don't have the debt extension to go out and get that money. But let's just say we had that money. You're going to tack on 5% because that building will not be, we will not be opening those doors. You've been through this drill before, until probably 2022. So I appreciate the commissioner's position on this. I respect his position, but there's another side to this story. And unless this board directs us to go to referendum next year to do this, we don't have the money to pay for this. And I just would say, I cannot in good conscience, as your executive director for 11 years, tell you to put up a building and just have water in it, because it will fail miserably. And staff, if you want to jump in on anything, and that $8 million does not take into account the warm water components that we're talking about. That's strictly a lane. So I just want everybody to understand that. Again, I respect Commissioner Egan and his position, and I respect the fact that that money could go toward that. But if we're going to do that, that's fine. It's when can we go back out for for the debt extension again too?
For significant, probably 2026, 27. That's when we really have some amounts available.
So thank you for indulging me.
To avoid a debate spontaneously, so I certainly have my suggestions. Maybe we should have a working subject on this in a future meeting.
Sure, we could,
I'm happy to share my ideas, but I don't want to distract.
President Chairman, just for the record, we have had that discussion several times,
Yes,
including at our last retreat.
yes.
Well,
So,
fair enough. Then let me, if we want to debate it, if I look to you, Rich, I'm happy to throw it on the floor now.
yeah, I don't think now's the appropriate time, but as always, if we have two commissioners that want to put something on it as an agenda item, I think we could certainly take it up. So that's what we do.
I want to just say,
Please.
I do want to agree with what Ray has said. The community doesn't want just a pool. Having a zero depth water feature for children is important. Having a warm water component for seniors is important, and all of those things, and how you put that together. I've been through this drill before where we looked at how to do it, but it's expensive and it's not easy to do. So we cannot have a pool that's just 4 lanes because it'll just sit there doing nothing for a majority of the time. We have to have those other components in order to fill up that, plus the fact that other components like fitness centers and activity rooms also have to support the activities that are going on around it.
So, Rich, I mean, certainly, you looked at it before, how many years ago? How much cheaper was it then?
No, well, it was cheaper, but
Right, so it's only going to get
What was it?
more expensive the more you wait. We give 4% raises. We can cut from that. And
we're not giving 4% raises. You keep saying that. We're not giving 4% raises.
The raise
They
pool
had
was
a pool.
4%.
They had a pool of 4%. There's a wide variety of raises at that.
If they didn't use it all, then we
state it as if
then
everybody got
taken the
4%.
budget, and we could have applied those funds in a better, more appropriate area.
I don't think so. Because we have enough difficulty hiring some of our part-time employees for like the beach and other activities, because they can go to, Bed Bath & Beyond and make plenty more money than what we were paying them. We had to upgrade our pay scale, or we wouldn't have employees, and then we wouldn't have the activities.
Not to go down a rabbit hole on this, but DuPage County, I don't know if you saw the headlines, one of their top executives left for the private sector. Everybody see that? I saw that in the news today. So
Yeah, I just saw.
it's definitely a war for talent out there, and the job market's really, really hot. All right, let's, anything else on the topic of administration here? Okay, then let's move on to finance.
Yep, things are going on as normal. We're, again, as I've said before, a little bit more into budget season, and we'll be coming forward with a calendar. Finance Committee reviewed it going forward. We've worked with marketing, and they just do an awesome job on that annual report. We submitted it for the GFOA popular annual do you have this on your list too, Sam?
No, I don't.
Oh, great. Okay, so what started out as an idea of us doing an annual report and adding in some of the financial components from our 2018 CAFR it's really a nice document, a lot of trends, a lot of graphs, and we're looking forward to hopefully getting that award again this year. And then just as an aside, publicly wanted to thank Sam and also Tom Sawyer from Sawyer Faldudo and Eric Anderson from Piper Jaffrey. We did a podcast, which was new for all of us, a financial podcast, and we all really enjoyed it and had a fun time. And Sam relaxed everyone, and she's the voice of radio, no doubt.
It was fun. It was a good
Yeah.
podcast.
It was. Thank you. Any questions? All right, let's move on then to human resources.
Okay, Greg, were you going to talk at all about your staffing changes?
Go ahead.
Okay, so tomorrow, Joanne Addison, who has been with the district for 26 years, is retiring. So we're going to be honoring her tomorrow, and we have filled her position with Monica, I'm probably mispronouncing, Bruzan. Monica's been with us for a good couple years. She's worked over at Fort Hill and in customer service. So she's got familiarity with the district, and we think she's going to be a very good addition to the administrative building. But she's already been cross-training with Joanne, so it should be a pretty seamless transition. We also have 2 new custodians that are going to be starting with us. We were able to, in a full-time capacity, we promoted one of our part-time custodians, and actually are going to be welcoming back a full-time custodian that left to go to a completely different career about 2 years ago. So we're pretty excited to have them moving into those roles. We're also working on filling the full-time administrative assistant position over in Parks. They're in second interviews, so hopefully we'll have an announcement in a short time here for that position. And also just wanted to let you know that you will be hearing from me as we kind of navigate our way through the implementation of new policies related to the recreational marijuana legislation that was signed.
Questions, comments? All right, IT, Omar, you got anything?
Yeah, just really right now, we're in a full support mode with everything open. We're also making great strides in our data initiative for the strategic plan. And really just with everything going on, hiring people and everything, I mean, we have movies in your parks to set up for presentations, orientations, so it's just really all hands on deck right now. Just really busy time.
Questions? Thank you, Omar. Marketing and communications?
All right, thank you. So I will echo Omar's sentiment. We're really in the midst of marketing mayhem, not surprising. Coming to the end of June, a lot of promotions have been going on, working on a lot on camps over the last several months, trying to get information out there and get people signed up for those. Promoting our events. We've got our new events from last year, the Night of the Movies and Farmers Market that came back this year, so putting a lot of promotion behind that. Working on, I won't steal Brad's thunder, but working on some beach promotions. So we're firing on all cylinders at this point. I already gave my parade update, so I have one other thing. I'm really proud of the marketing department, and particularly Spencer Heward and Carol Manderfield, who's our publications designer, their work on migrating the production of the program guide in-house. And this is something that I've wanted to do for several years, and we just didn't have the right systems in place, the right people in place. It was for many, many years we had outsourced the production of the program guide, and kind of my master plan was to bring it in-house. I knew we could realize efficiencies, we could cut that cost of having the third party do it, and then also realize additional ability to get more things done internally if we had the production in-house and had the right people in place. So we just completed the design of the autumn program guide completely in-house. There were little hiccups along the way. We knew that would happen though. We're troubleshooting a lot with the software, with ActiveNet, and kind of as we're bringing that in-house, figuring out how to do the right, things the right way and how to get the layout done, and working very, very closely with the recreation department. And I think that together we really found out that we're a good team and we can produce a great publication in-house. So I think it's a win for everybody all the way around. I'm really proud of my staff, and I just wanted to mention that that's definitely a process improvement for us. Thank you.
One quick question. I see a lot of the, like the restaurants, fundraisers. I mean, it seems like we're putting a good amount of bandwidth, against advertising that.
We are.
Do you think it's worth the return? I mean, there's only, like, to your point, you guys are all in, you got so much going on.
Sure.
Is it worth putting all this effort against something that's gonna raise $250, $300? Is it how much time do we value to put on our time versus what we get? I mean, do you think it's still worth doing all these, or is it?
We're gonna let it go through this year because it was about this time last year when we started that.
Right.
And so we got to the end of last year, and 6 months in, you really can't, it's hard to tell. And there's so much other noise that's out there, so how are we getting to people and who's responding accordingly? Right now, if I were to evaluate it, I'm not sure it's worth the time and effort. It's certainly a worthy cause, and we certainly have a lot of staff and board and some residents who've been a part of those fundraisers. But there is a lot that goes into promoting it. But I'm committed to seeing it through the end of the year, and we'll reevaluate at that point in time and see where we go.
Okay.
But I'll let the board know, I'll give you an update.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions, comments? Okay, parks and golf.
We'll start with golf, and first I'll say thank you to Sam Shaquille for saying all the work that her and her team have been doing to support golf. It's been an awesome job. Thank you. So I will start with golf. June has been quite a turnaround from our last May. You may recall, May had 22 out of 31 days that was pouring rain. We lost cards for over 15 days at Springbrook. So let's just say our budget wasn't favorable in May. But as far as June is going, we've already hit it at Naperville. I believe we hit today at Springbrook. So the next few days we'll be making up a little bit of lost revenue from May. I'd also like to talk about our junior camps and clinics. The junior program and the PGA Tour leagues have been basically sold out, and they're doing very, very well. For the first time, Springbrook has an all-girls team.
Yay.
Yes, and they're very proud of themselves. They had a match last week against Bolingbrook boys and won.
All right.
So they have bragging rights. Tournament championship season is starting in July with the junior amateur and the men's amateur, and then in August the women's invitational and the senior amateur will also be held in August. And if you mark your calendar, the Chambers Business After Hours event will be held at Springbrook this year on August 27th. Come out and enjoy the patio, craft beer tastings, events, challenges on the putting green. With our pro staff, and it's going to go between 5 and 6 trips. And on the park side, finally, we're back to normal mowing cycles. Staff is welcoming some weekends off. They deserve it. They've been working a lot of hours. Rip Fest setup is going on at shop. I'll be glad when that's over. And otherwise, the hot weather is going to bring with it the normal activities that are associated with it. As you know, we plant well over 100 trees every year. We have to water these trees, so we have 3 years worth of tree planting and water now every week with all this heat comes, and that's going to take a lot of effort. And beyond that, it's just normal summer stuff. Thank you.
Can I say something? I want to say one thing about golf. Today I was with several directors from park districts across the Chicagoland area, and almost straight across the board, each one of them was complaining about the fact that golf was so difficult this year and that their revenues are way down. So the fact that we're, holding our own is an excellent position for us to be.
Thank you. Good June.
Okay, anything else? Planning and development.
Yes, I wanted to report over the last few months we've been receiving requests for basketball courts at Free Meadows Park and Summerfield Lake Park. This actually even goes back to last year when we conducted our public open house event and we showcased the Free Meadows Park playground renovation. To better gauge input and ideas from residents on the possibility of placing basketball at these two locations, we're going to be working with Sam and her team for an online comment review period. We plan on releasing this in July to gather input from residents in the area about their ideas about placing basketball court at these two locations. But we just want to give you a heads up that we're doing this, and we'll report back to the Parks and Rec Committee later in the year. But we just thought it was a good way to gauge and gather input. We did so well with our playground renovations and gathering input on the equipment selection. We thought this would be a great way to also gather input in our communities. Also, I wanted to report that, and I have a handout for the group, we had a resident that proposed a trail connection through Brush Hill Park. This is a resident who really enjoys pickleball, who enjoys the pickleball courts at Nike Sports Complex, and then also Fort Hill Activity Center, and expressed to us that it would be great if there was a trail connection through Brush Hill Park to assist in either walking or riding a bicycle from Nike Sports Complex to Fort Hill Activity Center. And we took a very serious look at this idea, and it really makes a lot of sense. And it's one of those things, I mean, we see things in very high level and detail, but when a resident is going from one location to another, point to point, it really was apparent to us that this was a great idea. And we wanted to propose this idea to the board for consideration and possible inclusion in the 2020 capital budget. But it would be an 8-foot wide asphalt trail connection, and what's nice, it would also tie into our existing drone flying area that we have Brush Hill Park. But it was one of those things that in our Trails Master Plan, we're always talking about connectivity, but this specific connection was not identified, and we thought it was a great idea we wanted to share with you this evening. Also, I wanted to report on something that we've been talking about a little bit this year, especially in the early part of the year, is about the bid results that we've been receiving as a district. And you know, we had a chance to talk to quite a few of our consultants. I know Sue had a chance to talk to other financial advisors in the area, and this has been a common trend. I heard recently some districts had recently had their bid openings for larger buildings, and actually they came in quite favorable. But it was something early on in the year, and we're wondering, what was this related to? And a great example to share with the board this evening for when we look at the Wolf's Crossing Community Park bid opening, we had 10 bids. Tonight, the board approved the low bidder, who we went through an extensive due diligence review process. But if that low bidder did not bid on the project and we had those 9 bidders, the next low bidder would have been $500,000 over budget. The median pricing of the bids we received out of the 10, it would have been a $1.4 million over budget. So this is the Turner Building Cost Index. There's a lot of construction companies that are out there, and they have similar type cost indexes or indices, but you see in the report and looking down to the lower right-hand chart about, and we all know in late 2008 there was an economic downturn, and you can see how everything declined and it started creeping up. Well, it just slowly creeps up, and it seems like it's just not stopping. So this is nothing to be alarmed of. This is actually a good thing, but from a planning perspective, this is something for us to be aware of, and we'll be taking this into consideration when we develop our 2020 capital budget. So just an update.
Eric, back to this one, do you have a back of the envelope calculation on what something like this would cost?
Yeah, so we did. We ran the estimate for 8-foot wide asphalt trail for that distance, 1,090 feet, and it came in about $30,000. We think that's fair and reasonable, and we actually got that number from a local paving contractor, so we know it's a good number. We also looked at restoration, having conversations with Kevin, collapsible bollards, the whole complete package, probably in the neighborhood a little over $30K. Yes.
Question, if this segment was completed, how much trail would extend on either side approximately?
How much trail would it extend?
How long would the trail be?
Oh, in total from Nike to Fort Hill?
Yeah.
We didn't calculate. I don't have that. I can get that for you rather quickly.
But this would provide complete connectivity between Fort Hill.
And to keep in mind, this individual is looking at from perspective of utilizing existing right-of-way sidewalks.
Correct.
And so they just took it down, and then as you see the Dan Wolf parking lot there, and as you move further to the south, all the commercial, they just needed a way to get through there. And another thought that came to us when we were evaluating this, all the residents to the east and to the north who may have an interest in walking to Fort Hill Activity Center, now they have a better route to get there too.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Eric. Then we'll move on to recreation. Brent?
Yeah, in recreation, we're excited that summer finally arrived between yesterday and today with warm temperatures and sun. It's been a slow start to the season with both the school districts needing to extend and go longer because of the snow days, which also impacts our summer operations. And then just a number of days this month that have been overcast and cool. Centennial Beach, our attendance, when we look at the same time frame, if we look through yesterday and compare it to 2018, we're down about 36% in overall attendance. When we look at our 3-year average, we're actually down about 46% as far as number of people coming in the park just in that first several weeks during the month of June. Our season passes were also down 14%. What we really saw there was the last week of May leading into Memorial Day weekend is typically a very busy time for us selling a lot of preseason passes. And with the weather that week, again, people were not buying passes. So down 14% there. But I'm happy to report that working with Sam's team, we've taken a little chunk out of that. The last 2 days, we've held what we've called a splash sale, basically rolling the prices back to the preseason prices, which saves residents up to 20% to purchase their season pass. Yet it's a 2-day sale, so we want people to act, and we timed it, waiting for the weather to finally break for us. Yesterday we sold 93 passes, and as of 5:30 this afternoon, we were at another 100 passes sold today. So when all is said and done, we'll probably be just over 200 season passes in the 2 days sold. So
That's good.
certainly we will be looking at other incentives as we go through the course of the year. The next several days with the forecast look favorable as far as swimming is concerned, so we're excited about that. And then one other announcement, you've seen, most likely seen the emails regarding the upcoming concert by the Air Force Band. The Air National Guard Band of the Midwest will perform on Monday night at 7 o'clock at the Carillon. That's a free community concert, so we've been trying to push out a lot of information on that and hope the weather holds and we have a nice event there. That's it.
Very timely on that promotion. I think the more that we can time things, great, very good. Any other questions, comments? Okay, future meetings. The next regular meeting of the Board of Park Commissioners will be July 11th, 2019, 7 p.m. at the Naperville Municipal Central Council Chambers, 400 South Eagle Street, followed by the next meeting, July 25th, 2019, 6:30 p.m., right here at the South Maintenance Facility, 3415 Book Road in Naperville. Next item on our agenda is executive session.
Move to adjourn to executive session to discuss litigation under section 2C11 of the Open Meetings Act.
Second.
This is just
Yeah, personnel.
And personnel.
And personnel. And land.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion? Courage, please take the roll.
Commissioner Riley?
Yes.
Commissioner Todd?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Egan?
No.
Commissioner McBroom?
Yes.
President Janner?
Yes.